to be a private moment. American tennis star Coco Gauff smashing her racket in frustration. Commentators and the whole world, though, watching it happen live.
Wow.
The racket smash happening after a huge upset for the 21-year-old in the quarterfinals of the Australian Open, losing to Ukrainian Elina Svitolina.
Svitolina stuns and moves on to the semifinals.
Coco seen here leaving the court seemingly composed as cameras followed her into the wings and eventually behind a wall.
I tried to go somewhere where they wouldn't broadcast it, but obviously they did. So yeah, maybe some conversations we can be had, because I feel like at this tournament, the only private place we have is the locker room.
It's something Gauff isn't apologizing for, saying it was better to smash a racket than take her frustrations out on her team.
I don't think it's a bad thing. So I don't try to do it on court in front of kids and things like that. But I do know I need to let out that emotion. Otherwise, I'm just going to be snappy with the people around me, and I don't want to do that.
While Serena Williams is showing her support for Coco, she wrote on social media, quote, "Passion, caring matters. Nothing wrong with hating to lose." Now, Coco, when you want, I can show you how to demolish in one swipe, Serena style.
A lot of people are out and supporting her and saying, look, she did not know she was on camera. Yeah. She purposely tried to get away from the cameras.
Had a moment in private, so she thought.
Absolutely.
Well, we're all big Coco fans regardless.
All right. Listen to this. Coco Gauff just got knocked out of the Australian Open quarterfinals, and the cameras caught the full meltdown. She was hunting for a private spot to smash her racket in pure frustration, but the tournament's behind-the-scenes coverage tracked her down anyway and broadcast it globally. Now she's demanding more privacy for athletes, calling out the tournament for creeping on personal moments. Here's the full story and why she is 100% justified in being furious. But hold up, should tournaments really stop filming players during these private breakdowns, or is it all fair game once you're a professional athlete?
Get started. First one from me. Coco, a tough one out there today. Just give us your overall thoughts on the match and how Elina played today.
Yeah, she played really well. And unfortunately, usually when people raise their level, I'm able to raise mine. And today I didn't do that. So I have to figure out how not to do that again.
Coco Gauff just got absolutely destroyed in the Australian Open quarterfinals. Elina steamrolled her 6-1, 6-2 in only 59 minutes. That's not just losing a match. That's not falling short after a tough fight. That's getting annihilated on one of tennis's biggest stages. Coco stormed off the court, clearly fuming, and tried to find a camera-free spot so she could let out her frustration by smashing a racket.
He is usually so even-keeled. I feel like she's trying to walk away from the camera there.
She thought she'd found a private spot and went full rage mode, smashing her racket into the ground over and over. Except it wasn't private at all. The tournament's behind-the-scenes cameras caught every second and immediately plastered it across TV and social media.
From you out on the court, when you don't have your best stuff, what are you going through mentally and emotionally?
I mean, honestly, the first set, after that, I was still optimistic. I played 2-3 setters already this week. So, yeah, I just felt like, okay, obviously you want to win the first set when you're in a quarterfinal in general, but, I mean, I couldn't change that. So I felt like emotionally, I think I was just frustration, and it showed. And I tried my best to be positive, but I just felt like nothing for me at the moment was.
Now, Coco's speaking out, demanding more privacy for players, saying some moments shouldn't be blasted to the world. She even called out that the same thing happened to Aryna Sabalenka after Coco beat her in the U.S. Open final. These behind-the-scenes cameras are catching players at their most raw and vulnerable, then turning it all into bite-sized clips for social media and broadcast highlights. Coco points out that the only real private space at tournaments is the locker room, and she believes serious conversations need to happen about what should and shouldn't be filmed.
video of you breaking your racket off the court. It happens, but I'm curious, like, have you done that before? And how much did you need?
Yeah, I tried to go somewhere where there's no cameras. Yeah, I kind of feel like I have a thing with the broadcast. I feel like certain moments, the same thing happened to Irina after I played her final U.S. Open. I feel like they don't need to broadcast. I tried to go somewhere where I thought there wasn't a camera because I don't necessarily like breaking rackets, but I lost 1 and 2. I broke 1 racket on quarters, I think, or round of 16 of French Open, I think. And I said I would never do it again on court because I don't feel like that's a good representation. But yeah, I tried to go somewhere where they wouldn't broadcast it. But obviously they did. So yeah, maybe some conversations we can be had because I feel like at this tournament, the only private place we have is the locker room.
Here's the thing. She's 100% right. There's a huge difference between filming on-court action and literally stalking players with cameras to catch their private moments of frustration. When Coco was out there competing, film everything. That's the job. That's what fans paid to see. But the second she walks off the court, finds what she thinks is a private spot, and tries to process her emotions away from the public eye, maybe don't tail her with a camera crew and broadcast it like breaking news. The tournament's defense will be that these behind-the-scenes cameras give fans access and content they crave. And yeah, fans love seeing the human side of athletes, but there's a line between showing humanity and straight-up invading privacy. Coco made a conscious effort to avoid cameras. She didn't smash a racket in front of thousands on court. She didn't throw a fit during the match. She waited until she was off the court, sought privacy, and then let out her frustration in what she thought was a safe space. The tournament decided that wasn't enough and aired it anyway.
Seemed like you made you made some sort of miscalculation, or your team did, with the strings and sent some rackets off. I was sort of curious what happened there, and then also, like, when you were going through that frustration, what is your box telling you? What are those interchanges like in terms of what you're asking and what you're getting?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a miscalculation. I was playing with the tension that I normally use, and obviously, today was a bit weird trying to figure out how I want it to be strong because I found out the roof would be closed a little bit later. So I figured it would be close, but you just don't know. I hadn't played with the roof closed, so I didn't know. I felt like the ball was slower. Obviously, I've been playing mainly day and with the roof open in hot conditions, so I felt I needed to go lower, but it wasn't a miscalculation. I don't think that's the reason why I lost today. I'm not picky with the rackets. It was just something that, okay, I'm not feeling great. What can I change that's in my control? And the tension is one of those things that I just thought that maybe I can change it and it would help. But yeah, I don't think that was a reason as to why I was playing like today.
Let's break down the match itself, because the frustration makes total sense. Coco managed 3 winners and 26 unforced errors. 3 winners in a Grand Slam quarterfinal. That's brutal. For context, elite players usually rack up at least 15 to 20 winners in a competitive match. 3 winners means Coco wasn't taking control, wasn't dictating points, wasn't doing anything offensively. She was just making errors and hoping Svitolina would slip up. Spoiler alert, Svitolina didn't miss. She played one of the best matches of her life and completely dismantled Coco. Coco admitted she tried to stay positive, but felt like nothing was clicking. Her strengths just weren't showing up. Her serve, a long-standing issue, was particularly rough. She couldn't get free points. She couldn't hold serve comfortably. She gave Svitolina easy break opportunities again and again. And when you can't hold serve and aren't hitting winners, you're going to get obliterated. That's exactly what happened. But here's the kicker for Coco. She knows she's capable of so much more. She won the French Open last year, her 2nd Grand Slam. She's beaten the best of the best. She's proven she can perform on the biggest stages. And then matches like this happen where everything collapses and she looks completely lost. That inconsistency has haunted her since the U.S. Open 2023. She'll shine through a tournament, then get steamrolled in a match where nothing works. Coco even referenced Serena Williams, saying she watched Serena play poorly, yet still scrape out wins to eventually claim titles. That's the difference between a good player and an all-time great. Great players find ways to win ugly. They survive on off days. They grind through 3-set battles when nothing is clicking. Coco isn't there yet. When she's off, she loses badly. When she's on, she dominates. There's no middle ground where she plays poorly but still competes. That's the next step in her evolution, and it's proven tricky. Now, let's swing back to the privacy issue, because this is where it gets really interesting. Coco has zero regrets about smashing her racket. She said she didn't want to snap at her team. They're good people who don't deserve that. She knows she's emotional, so she took a moment to step away somewhere private and release it physically. That's actually really mature. She recognized her anger, removed herself from the situation, found what she thought was a safe space, and dealt with her emotions in a way that didn't hurt anyone. Except the cameras followed her anyway, and now millions have seen the clip of her smashing her racket all over social media with headlines like Coco Gauff loses control or Coco meltdown caught on camera. That's not fair. She didn't lose control. She maintained control by stepping away from public view before letting out her frustration. The tournament completely violated that boundary by filming her and broadcasting it. Coco made a strong point about not doing it on a court in front of kids. She knows young fans watch her and doesn't want to set a bad example by throwing tantrums mid-match. So she waited until she was off the court in what she thought was a private area before releasing her emotions. That's responsible behavior from a 21-year-old dealing with enormous pressure and disappointment. And the tournament's response? Film it and turn it into content. The comparison to Sabalenka is key here. After Coco beat Sabalenka in the U.S. Open final, Sabalenka was devastated. She just lost another major final. The frustration was intense, and she needed a moment to process it. The cameras caught her breakdown and broadcast it everywhere. Sabalenka probably thought she had privacy too, but behind-the-scenes cameras don't care about privacy. They care about content. And emotional breakdowns make excellent content. Here's the harsh truth. Tournaments profit from these behind-the-scenes moments. Fans go crazy for raw, unfiltered athlete emotions. Social media engagement skyrockets when clips like Coco smashing her racket go viral. So from a business perspective, the tournament has every reason to film everything and broadcast it. Player privacy doesn't generate revenue. Viral moments do. But just because it's profitable doesn't make it right. Players deserve some level of privacy, especially during extreme frustration or disappointment. They're humans performing under insane pressure on global stages, not reality TV stars whose every moment must be captured for entertainment. Boundaries are needed. The locker room alone isn't enough. Players should be able to step off the court and process emotions without cameras tracking every second. Coco's point about needing to release emotion is important. Bottling up frustration is unhealthy. Athletes need outlets for the intense emotions that come with top-level competition. Some scream into towels. Some cry privately. Some smash rackets. As long as nobody gets hurt and nothing is damaged, who cares? Let them process however they need. But filming those moments and broadcasting them is essentially punishing players for having normal human reactions to disappointment. The counterpoint? Professional athletes accept this level of scrutiny when they turn pro. They make millions, play for millions of fans, and accept that parts of their lives are public. Fair. But there's a difference between having your on-court performance analyzed and having your private frustration moments filmed without consent and shared worldwide. One is part of the job. The other is a privacy invasion disguised as fan access. Credit where it's due. Svitolina played brilliantly too. While everyone fixates on Coco's loss, Svitolina, 31, came back from maternity leave, overcame mental health struggles, and now is in her first Australian Open semi-final at Melbourne Park. She won Auckland to start the year and is on the verge of returning to the top 10. That's a story of resilience and perseverance. But guess what? Svitolina's story got overshadowed by Coco smashing her racket, because that's what clicks. A 31-year-old mother making her first semifinal is inspiring, but doesn't drive the same social media frenzy as a 21-year-old star losing her cool. That's exactly the problem with these behind-the-scenes cameras. They prioritize viral moments over real meaningful stories. Coco's struggles since winning the French Open shine a light on a bigger problem. The pressure on young stars is suffocating. She won her second Grand Slam at just 21, and immediately the narrative became, how many more will she win? Instead of celebrating the achievement, everyone started projecting her entire career, comparing her to Serena, setting impossible expectations. And when she loses in a quarterfinal, it's treated like a massive failure, instead of a strong tournament run that just fell short of the ultimate goal. Her service problems are real and ongoing. She's been grinding on it for years, and it's still a major weakness. That has to be beyond frustrating. You put in countless hours, work with coaches, adjust techniques, and then the biggest matches roll around, and the serve still betrays you. At some point, it's as much a mental block as a technical flaw. She knows her serve is weak, opponents know it, and that awareness only adds pressure, making the issue worse. The stats don't lie. 3 winners and 26 unforced errors means she was outplayed completely. That's not unlucky or a close match. That's a full-on defeat where one player dominated the other. After a loss like that, of course you're frustrated. Of course you need a way to release it. Smashing a racket in what you thought was private? Pretty reasonable. The fact that Coco immediately brought up the privacy issue in her press conference shows how much it bothered her. This wasn't some throwaway line. This was a deliberate call for change. She wants tournaments to have conversations about what should and shouldn't be filmed. She wants players to have more privacy, and she's using her platform to push for it, which is admirable. The reality? Nothing changes unless players collectively demand it. One person speaking up won't move the needle. But if multiple top players push back against these behind-the-scenes cameras, refuse to cooperate with certain media requirements, and make it clear that some boundaries are non-negotiable, maybe tournaments will start listening. As long as players accept it as part of the job, tournaments will keep filming everything because it's profitable. Coco's reference to Serena winning on bad days is the goal, but it's incredibly tough. Serena won 23 Grand Slams over 20 years. She developed the ability to win ugly through years of experience and mental toughness built from countless high-pressure situations. Coco is 21. She's won 2 majors. She hasn't had enough time to build that level of mental resilience yet. Expecting it now is unrealistic. The good news? She knows it's a problem. She knows she needs to figure out how to push through bad days. She knows her strengths need to show up more consistently. She knows her serve needs work. Awareness is the first step. The hard part comes next, actually fixing it. That takes time, coaching, mental work, and probably a few more tough losses along the way. The Australian Open loss stings, but it's not the end of the world. She's 21 with 2 Grand Slam titles already. She'll have plenty more chances, but the privacy issue she raised is real and needs serious attention from tournaments and governing bodies. Players aren't content machines for social media. They're athletes competing at the highest level, and they deserve privacy when dealing with the intense emotions that come with that. Coco tried to do the right thing by stepping away from public view before letting out her frustration. The tournament filmed it anyway. That's not okay, and she's right to call it out. Coco got destroyed on court, tried to find a private moment to process it, and still got filmed. Her push for more player privacy is valid and way overdue. If you think tournaments are crossing the line with behind-the-scenes cameras, hit that like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me whether you think players deserve more privacy.